everyone. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Tiffany.
And we are the Clean Romance Podcast. The Clean Romance Podcast is a place for lovers of clean romance to come and feel safe. Like you have your people, and we're just chatting over coffee, but without actually having coffee, about all things clean romance.
And we are going to go get coffee.
We can't wait. We are actually recording from Austin, Texas right now. We just finished the Novel Marketing Conference, which was amazing. So today we're going to be playing little interviews that we had with other clean romance authors. So we'll be taking breaks for that. We'll be sharing a little bit about the conference. And then we're going to talk about what getting a podcast started is like, because we've had a lot of listeners ask for information about that. And then we're going to get hipster coffee in Austin, Texas. And I can't wait.
Yes. So this was actually Sarah's first writing conference. So I'm curious, Sarah, how was your first experience at a writing conference?
That is a really good question. It was so good. I am feeling like my cup is filled. And they always say, anytime you come to a conference, and I've done tons of Mary Kay conferences, like probably almost 100 Mary Kay conferences. And what I've always known, and even Thomas said this coming into the writers conference, was you need to know what you're looking for when you come. Like, what is the one thing you want to walk away with? I had no idea. I was like, I don't know. I'm just going. I want to hang out with Tiffany. I want to get some content. And I just kind of just wanted to hang out with my people. And I think that's actually what I did, was hang out with my people. It was really cool.
Yeah. I have been to a lot of writers' conferences, and this was a really unique one because they did a good job of splitting us up into our groups of like fellow writers that we can connect with. And so we would go to a class and then have a workshop with our genre group. It felt a lot like my MFA workshops in grad school. Is you're not just consuming information, you're figuring out how to put it into practice with like-minded people who are also trying to put it into practice. And so it felt very practical. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I love that part because I feel like a lot of times you go to conferences or any kind of training event and you get really trained up, but you don't get a chance to implement it. You don't get a chance to review what you've learned, and you're expected to then get home, block out a week and figure it out, which we still need to block out a day to implement stuff. You had time to process out loud with other people. I was not with a group of like-minded authors. I was in a mixed genre group. So most of the groups were created based on, the sci-fi people were together and the memoir people were together and the self-help people were together. Well, I ended up in a group mixed, and it was kind of weird, but it was totally fine because I feel like the writing is a lived experience that we're all sharing. And overall, we have basically the same stuff we need to be doing. So it was still cool, even though I wasn't with clean romance authors.
But you hung out with us after.
I did. We had some incredible dinners after.
We did. So the first night we went out to dinner with, Drew Taylor was here, Anna Kay, S.L. Morales, I am missing Molly Barlow, and then Sarah and I. And after our dinner, which was like a 4-hour long dinner, and we just talked and talked and talked, Sarah and I were like, I wish we had recorded that conversation for the podcast because it was so wonderful and so beautiful. Like, we were talking about our faith, we were talking about our books, we were talking about our lives, and everyone is encouraging each other and giving each other advice, and we were crying, and it was so wonderful.
Tiffany cried.
I cried.
Okay, I almost thrust my arms into the air and went, Tiffany, cry! Because, I'm always the one crying, so it was amazing when Tiffany
I've cried multiple times this weekend.
Oh, yeah, this weekend, but not on the podcast.
That's true. Yeah. I haven't cried yet on the podcast.
No.
Have I?
I tear up every single episode over something. I feel things deep here. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel them deep. And I just want y'all to know that I feel them deep. So my tears show you.
Yep. I love it. I think that's a wonderful thing, Sarah.
Okay, so I think this is a great moment to take a break and play one of our interviews. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
All right, we are at the Novel Marketing Conference in Austin, and I am with Stacy. And Stacy, can you tell us a little bit about your books, what you write?
Yes, I write Christian romantic suspense. Have 2 series out: the Texas Security series and the White Rock Security series.
Nice. So we wanted to know, as a Christian suspense author, what is the most unhinged Google search you've ever had to do for a book?
Yeah, I had more than one idea on this. Probably researching how long it would take a person to die who's gotten locked inside a freezer, how long it would take them to freeze to death. Yeah, my main characters do not ever die. It's not that violent of a series, neither one of them, I promise. But yeah, there's some interesting, but you have to have some of that, some of those dangerous things going on. So
Yes, definitely. And in suspense. Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah. So if readers want to find you, where should they look to find you and your books?
Yes. So StacyAngelCurtis.com is my website, but I'm also on Amazon. I have ebooks, paperback, one so far audiobook. More of that soon. So yes.
Awesome. Thanks, Stacy.
All right, that was great. Okay. Should we play one more interview?
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna play one.
We're at the Novel Marketing Conference in Austin, and I'm here with Anna Kay. And I just wanted to chat with you a little bit. Can you tell us about your book that you're working on?
Yes. So I'm writing a Christian kissing book for women who have a past.
Ooh. I like that. A Christian kissing book. I like that designation. Yeah. Okay, so one question for you. So tell us a little bit about a moment that really shaped the direction of your book. Like, is that
Yeah.
like, is that the question I was supposed to ask? Yes, it is. Okay.
That's a lovely question. Thank you so much for asking, Tiffany. So I grew up a preacher's kid and kind of strayed from my faith and made a lot of mistakes. And I just want to remind women, Christian women, about God's grace and how we don't have to carry the burden of shame, that it's no longer ours. So.
I love that. And when is your book going to come out, Anna?
Oh my goodness. I would love for it to be released in October of this year.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll be praying for that October
you.
of this year. Thanks for chatting with us.
Thanks, Tiffany.
All right. Should we keep talking about the conference or should we move on?
Well, was there something that you want, like a takeaway that you wanted to share?
I don't feel like I had a single takeaway, but I had a lot of takeaways that I don't know that like people will care to hear about.
I mean,
it was good.
I feel like the takeaway that I had is how important it is to find your tribe, because when you do that, you have so much more peace.
Yes.
About where you're at. And I think that's one of the reasons why we wanted to start the Clean Romance podcast, is because we want people to have a safe place for reading romance. And so much romance right now is not safe for a lot of people.
Right.
And so I think when you find your tribe, your group of people that you connect with and you feel like you belong with, it makes such a difference. And I feel that way about talking about books, about writing, about faith. Like when you have a community that you can plug into, it just makes life so much easier, so much happier, and better.
It re-energizes you.
Yes.
I'm going to piggyback off of that because what we had wanted to talk about, so like maybe a lot of people haven't been to a writer's conference, but you've probably been to some kind of conference for work. And so like for me, I've been to a lot of Mary Kay conferences. And I think it's similar in the sense that like you work your Mary Kay business by yourself. Like you're at it's a work from home business and you feel really alone. And that's one reason the company values conferences. Like we have quarterly conferences because by about the time you decide you're crazy and you don't know what you're doing and you're all by yourself, you go to a conference and then you're hanging out with your people and you have so much fun and you realize it's a shared experience and this is and like we're not all like I'm not crazy, and we're having fun. We're gonna go home re-energized. And I think that's exactly what I got here, but for writing. It's like we realized like we're not broken, we're not like we aren't crazy. I mean, maybe a little bit, I don't know, but like maybe we're all crazy together doing this creative life thing.
Yes.
And it was like we have shared struggles and we have shared victories, and we've left with lots of new friends, and just that feeling of re-energizing. Like, okay, I can do this. I got stuff to do, but I see why I'm going to do it now.
Yes.
It doesn't
definitely.
It doesn't feel just like an endless sometimes I feel like when you're doing it on your own, you're like in the paddle boat. You know those paddle boats that you're like spinning with your feet, the pedaling boats, you know? And they already don't really go anywhere fast, but sometimes you get a broken one that kind of goes in a circle. Already it's like the slowest boat ever.
Yeah.
And then when you get one that's broken and your friends are like boop, 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 like going off. I remember from Girl Scout camp, my friends were just gone, and I was like spinning for all I was worth, not going anywhere. That's what it feels like sometimes.
Right.
And so it was really nice to get around someone. It's almost like they toss a little rope and no one's still going really fast, but we're going together here.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. That's a very good analogy.
Yeah. I'm a writer. Sometimes words work. Okay, so I think it's a good time to play one more interview, and then we're going to come back and talk about, what are we talking about? Oh, the podcast.
The podcast. How we started the podcast, kind of the highs and lows, and a little bit of behind the scenes briefly.
Because we got to get hipster coffee. All right, so we're going to play an interview. Hey everyone, we're at the Novel Marketing Conference, and I'm here with my new friend Jamie, who is a author. And so Jamie, why don't you tell us a little bit about us and the books you write?
Okay, so my name is Jamie Foley. My website is jamiefoley.com. I write fantasy with clean romance in it, so it's kind of like a clean romantasy situation going on. My first two series are specifically for young adults, but you know, a lot of adults tend to like them as well. And my newest series coming out pretty soon, hopefully next year, is going to be adult with a little bit even heavier romance.
Ooh.
But still clean.
I'm an adult who reads young adults, so I'm all for that. Okay, so wait, hold on. What's going to make it adult? Because you're writing clean, right?
So some of the themes in that one just don't jive with the YA audience. I have struggled with infertility, and I felt God endorsing me to write that sort of storyline. It also deals with reconciliation after like a forced divorce situation, and even though I'm still going to have the same young adult vibes, it's going to be fast paced, it's going to be cute and sweet and all that good stuff. It's going to deal with more adult topics.
I'm really excited about this because that's kind of what I write too. So we're going to have to be besties now. Okay, so what's one moment in your life that directly shaped the kind of stories you write?
Oh, well, I was reading A Court of Thorns and Roses several years ago, and it was not clean, and I didn't realize that, and there were some really spicy scenes in it, and I looked at it and saw that it was marketed for YA, and I was a little scandalized by that. I returned the book, I didn't finish it, and I left a nasty review because I was like, why is this targeted for YA? Because like I have children, you know, and I want to protect them, and teens are technically children, okay? Like I don't want them to be over sexualized. So that's a huge part of the reason why I write clean. I feel like we don't have to put all that stuff in even a romance novel to make an amazing love story.
I feel you. That series, it was a DNF for me as
Yeah.
well. What character in your book would be the worst to be stuck in an elevator with, and why?
Oh my goodness. I would be terrified to be stuck in an elevator with Jet Valinor for my first series. He is I don't want to give it too much away, but like he is a tall, dark, strong, handsome, like former military type. And I put him through a lot of really difficult situations in that series. And so he would probably murder me in the elevator.
That's amazing. I'm like, ooh, tall, dark. Why do we not want to be stuck in an elevator? But it's because you made his life miserable.
Well, he gets the girl in the end, so he can't be that mad.
Yeah, he better be thanking you. Well, thank you, Jamie. I'm so excited to look into your books. I'm glad we're friends now.
Yay! Me too.
All right, you ready? Hey everyone, we're here at the Novel Marketing Conference and I am with Shelby. Shelby, will you give us your name? I just told everyone your name and tell us about the books you write.
So my name is Shelby. I go by S.L. Morales for my books. I write romantasy that have epic adventures, sweeping romance, and biblical themes. My first one, Celestial Fates, is out right now, and Eclipse Bound, the sequel, comes out in a couple of months.
Okay, I need to know, does it end in a cliffhanger?
The first one? Yes, it does end on a cliffhanger. So maybe don't read it until like March. So the second one comes out.
We'll go ahead and read it now. March is plenty. We won't forget it.
Okay.
Between now and March. Okay. So next question. What character in your book would be the worst to be stuck in an elevator with and why?
So the worst person to be stuck in an elevator with for this character is Carmilla. She is a wraith, and she kind of has anger management issues. So if she was stuck in a metal box with a person that was annoying, she probably could harm them potentially, or herself trying to escape. So she needs more work on her anger management before something like that were to happen. So
I imagine a wraith would be scary to be stuck in an elevator with.
most definitely, yeah. She's a pretty wraith, but she's a very dangerous wraith. So
All right. Well, thank you so much, Shelby. I look forward to reading your books.
thank you.
All right, we back?
We're back.
We're back from break, everyone. I feel like I'm on a radio show. All right, so we're going to talk about podcasting. Like I said, we did a Get Ready With Me video on our Instagram. Y'all should check that out. And we gave people a chance to ask us questions. And I feel like at least a third of the questions were about how do we podcast? What's it like?
Yeah.
So do you want to go first?
Well, so the genesis of the podcast was that Sarah has had a couple of different podcasts that you've done. And Sarah was like, do you think sometimes maybe occasionally you could be a guest co-host with me and we could talk about clean romance? And I was kind of like, okay, sure. And so she kept putting this bug in my ear. I think you probably asked me like 2 or 3 different times about it over the span of a few months. And then finally you were like, why don't we jump on a Zoom call about it? And our Zoom call was at least an hour long. And we had so much fun talking and had so many ideas that we were like, okay, we definitely have enough content for a podcast. And then I went from like occasional guest co-host status to like co-host.
To the co-host. It's us. I'm co-host. She's co-host. There's no like big host. Did you want to say anything?
No. So then that's how we started.
So for my end, like she said, I've done a couple podcasts. I've had one called Author Shenanigans. It was super cool. It's still out there somewhere. I have one called Live, Ride, Learn, where it's learning and growing together through stories. But for me, I struggle with consistency. So when I'm just doing it on my own, it's a lot of work to do on your own. And sometimes it doesn't feel like the most important thing in the moment. So I will like get really hot on my podcast and publish like lots of episodes, and then I won't publish again for a year. So like my most recent Live, Ride, Learn podcast was published in May. So I knew, like, I watch a lot of podcasts or listen to a lot of podcasts, and to me it seemed like having a partner would be the easiest way. You know, if I have a weakness, let me find someone who has a strength in that. And I just felt led to Tiffany the whole time. There was not a single other person that I ever considered asking to do it with. And I don't know if like God just put her on my heart, or maybe she's my only clean romance friend, but I just was like, I want to do it with Tiffany, but I didn't want to overwhelm Tiffany. So instead of being like, hey, do you want to do a podcast with me? I just was like, hey, will you co-host a few times? Maybe, you know, you could be a recurring guest or something, because I didn't want to scare her, but I just knew that she was the person I needed to help me do this.
Oh, I'm honored, Sarah, to be your only clean romance friend. Well, now Sarah has lots of clean romance.
I do.
Besties.
Yes. I kept meeting people and being like, you're my new bestie. They were probably like, wow, what are you, 12 years old? Maybe, at heart. Okay.
I still feel that way, though. I'm still like, I'm 37. Can we call people your best friend? But I'm like, why not? I'm going to, and, you know, If you feel like it's juvenile, then that's fine.
That's your problem.
Yeah.
Not mine. I've got all the friends.
Sarah does have a lot of friends. Sarah attracts friends.
I have a lot of best friends.
Like no other.
It was really funny at the conference because it's just me and this is just how I live my life. But since you pointed it out on a previous recording, everywhere I went, I just was attracting friends. And I was just like, well, come on, everyone. This is going to be so fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's your yellow energy. You're easy to talk to. And honestly, being a writer who's probably an introvert in a big social setting like that, you're searching for the easiest person to connect with, the safest person to connect with. And I think you are a very safe person to connect with.
Thanks.
I think that's a huge compliment that you
Thanks.
You gather together people who follow you around.
Okay, so
starting the podcast. We never get off track, ever.
I wish just our whole conversation of the last 2.5 days had been recorded, because this is what it's been like.
Yes. Yeah.
So, we're talking about the podcast now.
Yes. So, how about some difficulties in getting started and what it's really like?
Okay. So
I wish we could show you guys what we have set up here in the hotel room. Obviously, we have our microphone on top of Sarah's suitcase.
Isn't it cute?
Okay. And then we have lights set up on top of chairs, and it's
not as romantic as you imagine it to be.
Yeah.
We could have put a blanket over the suitcase. No one would even have known. Next episode. Okay, so for me, well, when I've done podcasts in the past, I literally just started it. That's it. I just published my first episode and would post on my personal social media, and that's it. But Tiffany was like, we need to do a launch. And so it was not just throw out an episode and see what happens. It was, we're launching with 3 episodes, 3 edited episodes ready to go. She started a social media account for us, and we already have over 500 followers. We spent a month just recording and editing and all this build up. And our goal is to always have 2 to 3 episodes in the wings in case we can't record one week, or just so we're not frantically behind. So that was stressful. And that was in the holidays. That was in November, which as a salesperson also should be my busiest time of the year.
Right.
And it's your busiest, often a family time. It's actually a downtime for us because we don't have sports, but it's an up time because we travel to Mississippi twice in the holidays. Driving. We drive from Virginia to Mississippi and back. And we did it twice in December because we're crazy people. So, yeah, so that was, I think, the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
And then also tech difficulties. We've learned that the program we use for podcasting, while awesome in certain ways, uses a lot of memory, and neither of us have a computer big enough to really run this program adequately. So she borrows her husband's computer and my computer limps along. I have to shut down everything. I have to restart my computer. I can only have one program running, and sometimes we still have tech difficulties. In our last episode, we had to re-record twice, and I still cut out for the last third of it. So that has been the funnest part.
Yeah, that's been a challenge. And also, I forgot about this, but our first couple episodes that we recorded, my sound sounded wonky.
Oh, yeah.
I had a family friend who was trying to help me with the sound. And I mean, going back and forth, literally got on a Zoom call with this person to try to figure out the sound for hours.
Yeah.
Come to find out, the problem was that my microphone was backwards. And I had recorded at least 2 episodes with my microphone backwards. And this poor person is trying to help me out, figure that out. And then we realized that. And, you just don't know what you don't know. And whenever you start something new, and obviously Sarah knew a lot more than me, but whenever you start something new, you have to go through all the heartache
learning
of
curves.
trying something
Yeah.
new.
Yeah, and like I never recorded with this program before. I always just use Zoom. And so Zoom's super easy. I'm just going to shout out to Zoom. But this program that we use makes it so much easier to make really great social media clips. And I never did social media before much, so I didn't need it, but it saves hours to have a program like make a clip for you. So anyway, I learned don't ever do anything Bluetooth at all when you're recording for the podcast. So I was using Bluetooth AirPods just to listen, not for my microphone, just so I could hear Tiffany, because you were supposed to like wear headphones. Anyway, the Bluetooth was skewing everything. So there's like 2 episodes where my voice and the video are not lined up. So if you watched our episode on YouTube, you might have noticed that I like talk and then 3 seconds later my mouth moves. And that was really frustrating. And yeah.
Yeah.
So we've learned.
Definitely. I think that one positive has been some of the interviews that we've had. We have had some really fantastic conversations, and we started the podcast knowing that we didn't want to be a book review podcast, which is what most book podcasts are. But we wanted to have deeper conversations. We also wanted to have more fun. And
we wanted to laugh.
We wanted to laugh and also let people into our lives and get to know us. And one of the things at the conference this weekend that they talked about is, how do you know if someone is human? You see them on a podcast. And that's how you know, like, we are real people with real lives. And
we actually write our books too.
Right. Imagine that.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, the human element of it is the best part. Like getting to talk to you each week. I mean, we've kind of laughed about this because we're both moms, we're both writers. Like, we don't actually get to talk to very many people an hour a week.
I barely talk to my husband an hour a week.
Right. So
like, we're busy.
Yeah, it's honestly a wonderful thing that we have this time carved out each week of getting to talk.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
It has been really fun.
I've loved, it's one of those things, like, I know what we're doing is probably good. It's probably fun for people, but when we get feedback, like, that's been really special. Tiffany controls the social media, so I don't see a lot of the feedback, but she started sending me screenshots and I was like, no way. Like, people we don't know are actually enjoying this.
Yeah.
And our smut episode where Madeline talked about overcoming smut addiction has had a pretty decent amount of feedback of people just saying, thank you. And I've been there. And that was really cool to me because it's like, that's not a battle that I've faced. Like, anyway. And so I was fascinated by that, and also felt like so cool that we could do that for people, because we're all facing different battles, right? Like, that's not my battle, but I got others' problems. And confessions on the couch. So anyway, I love, like, that's one of my things is and those personality tests, one of mine is being an influencer, and being an influencer, not in like social media sense, but in the sense that you get to help people, and that drives me, knowing that I am helping people. And so I love that, seeing all the feedback that people feel like they're having coffee with us and are encouraged.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how we want you to feel.
Yeah.
And we want to hear from you. If you have things that you want us to talk about, we will talk about. I mean, within reason. Yeah. I think that there are topics that we don't want to touch.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure we'll ever touch. But we're if you throw out,
pretty open
to
some stuff.
Yep.
Just try it, you know? I feel like the answer is going to be like 90% yes.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this, and that I keep putting Sarah on the spot with things.
It's because I'm not a questions person. Like, I never have questions for stuff, and you have anyway. Like, when I go
to have a lot of questions, no?
I don't know. Like, this is just in life. Like, okay, I used to work for a wealthy family running their barn, and the vet would come out, and I would work with the vet. I do the whole thing, and then the owner of the property would come out and ask 1,000 questions about our vet visit. Did you ask her this? Did you ask her that? Did you ask her that? I was like, no. I just don't have questions. Like, anyway, she would get so annoyed at me that I hadn't asked the vet all these random questions, but I just take information as it comes.
Yeah. I'm not good in those situations either. I have to when I go to the doctor, I have to write my questions down before I go and bring someone with me so that they can ask questions in the moment, because I am not good at that.
I am not, I don't have questions. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my question. What do you see as the future of the podcast? Like, what would you love to see happen with the podcast in the future?
Oh, I was just thinking about asking you that. That's
really?
so funny. Okay, so in the future, I would just love to see, like, I would love to see us have, like, a big following. Not in the sense of, like, y'all are following us, but in the sense, like, we have this big tribe. I'm going to totally steal your answer, but, like maybe sometime we could, like, go on a trip together or something, you know, like, let's do, like, have a little clean romance conference. Like, okay, in the big scheme, in the big world, I would love to have our own table at Barnes & Noble.
We're coming for you, Barnes & Noble.
We've made this clear. We're putting it out. So I would like our own table at Barnes & Noble. I would like to have our own little book conference.
Yeah.
For readers.
I think that would be, the thing is we started this for community, to connect with each other and with other clean romance readers, and to create, like Sarah said at the beginning, a safe place for romance readers. And I think we're also on a conference high right now, where
we are.
We've just been around our people, and we're just so excited about it.
And we haven't washed dishes in 3 days.
Oh my gosh. Or made any meals. Like, it's amazing. You should try it. So I just thought it would be fun to get together in some way,
and
shape,
to give
or form.
you that conference high.
Yes, exactly. It's so true.
Yeah. Like, I see people, I can't actually imagine doing it, but I see, like, other podcasts go on cruises and stuff together. Yeah. I have a friend, the Horse Radio Network, this is like a whole other thing. They do a cruise. I have a friend that has gone on the Horse Radio Network cruise twice, and she loves it so much. And I think, I just can't fathom doing that. But now I want to do it, and I want to ask y'all to do it with us.
Yeah.
Someday. Not right now. We need a few more downloads than what we have.
Just a few.
Just working the numbers, I think one person would come at this exact moment. So maybe in like a year or so, when we've grown some.
Yeah.
Tell all your friends, okay? Share it with your friends. Let's grow this so we can go on a cruise together. That's our marketing plan. Share it with friends.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Is this... Wait, you didn't answer.
I did
the whole show, and I apologize.
Sarah stole my answer. And we can edit this out if you're not okay with it. But I do think that we eventually should monetize the podcast so that we can pay for our expenses of the podcast. But I think that would involve some kind of Patreon account where we get people who, you know, pay monthly for added material,
right,
and get to be like the insiders with us, and really get to, like, now you get to know us from a distance, but it would be a little bit more like you're in our conversation.
Like, I want to write a book writers group or something. Anyway, yeah, I agree, because it's a free labor, and it is quite a labor. We need a bigger computer.
At least one bigger computer.
And that's a lot of money for something we do for free. Yes, monetizing would be nice, but it's part of me, like, feels like I immediately feel weird talking about money.
Yeah,
but then we literally just came from a conference where I'm a patron subscriber to his podcast, and I will tell you, I love it so, like, I love his podcast so much. This is the Novel Marketing Podcast. I loved it so much, and he gives so much value that I felt like he has earned this. Like, he has earned my $10 a month, and there's not a day that I think I shouldn't give him $10 a month. Like, I just think he's worked hard for it, and there is so much value in what he provides. And so I hope that we can be like that too, that we could provide enough value that if we did monetize and people are giving us money, that there will never be like, why am I giving them $3 a month? I want them to be like, it's totally worth like half a cup of coffee now, because you can't even get a cup of coffee for definitely anyway, $3 maybe for drip coffee. I don't know.
Right. I don't know.
Like, my cheap drink used to be like $2.70, and now it's like $4.70.
Yeah. But even if anybody wants to share, like what are things that we could do as a podcast that would make you feel like the value add,
Yeah.
of like, this is absolutely worth it to me. I think as a reader, one of the most valuable things that I've stumbled on in our community is really trusted reviews.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why I love Rachel at Closed Door Romance, because she also collects them in topics, and I think that's something, as we add more 5-star reads to the podcast, like that's so valuable for readers really looking for genuinely good content, especially as Bookstagrammers become more about making money from others, which is fine.
Right.
But you don't always know 100% of the time if they're sharing a book because they were paid to share a book, or if they are sharing a book because they genuinely love the book.
Right.
And so that's something I always want to have as important. Like, our 5-star reads are not going to be paid 5-star reads ever,
Yeah, they're ones that we have read with our own eyeballs or ears, whichever, and we loved.
Yeah.
And couldn't put down.
Yeah.
So occasionally I can't keep up with the pace of our recording, so I have to go into a backlist.
Yeah.
Of books that I read last year or the year before, but we're always sharing 5 stars.
Yeah.
So
I don't have a 5-star.
We aren't prepared.
Okay, actually I do have a 5-star. I just finished it.
Okay. Good for you. Let's hear it, Tiffany. Let's hear it. What's your 5-star
Okay, my
read?
5-star read for the week is Gracie Ruth Mitchell's Juniper Bean Resorts to Murder.
That sounds adorable.
Yeah. Okay, so I will say this. I'm going to say 2 things about the book. I have loved every Gracie Ruth Mitchell book that I have read. And I think she does some Regency or something that I haven't read any of those, but I think I've read most, if not all, of her contemporary rom-coms. She is so funny, very quirky. I just love the quirkiness of it. It speaks to the quirky person inside of me, and I just love that so much. But this might be her most unique book. And as a trigger warning, I will say that there is a murder.
I was going to say, someone gets murdered.
Someone gets murdered. So even though I would still call it a rom-com, and there's still like quite a bit of humor and banter and all of that, I had a hard time reading it before bed because it kind of freaked me out a little bit. But I am like the most sensitive person about those things.
Okay.
So if you feel like you are a sensitive person, be wary. But I loved this book. Loved this
book. All right. Okay. So I came up with one while you were talking that I don't think I've shared before. But in the spirit of February, I thought I would share My Phony Valentine by Courtney Walsh.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was in a rom-com dry spell when I read that book. And I think it was last year. It may have been the year before. But I know I had read a lot of like marketed as rom-com books that I didn't laugh at all in. Mm-hmm. And I saw the cover and thought, this looks really cheesy. It sounds like the cheesiest book in the whole world, and not in I love cheesy. Like, I was like, I don't know about this, but I think I had seen someone recommend it. And to me, recommendations are very powerful. Like, if someone says it's good, that's when I click download. And so I read it, and I mean, I was like giggling and squealing and like, oh my gosh, like it was so good that now I think I need to go back and reread it because I barely remember anything about the plot other than it like made me squeal and giggle, and it was the funniest book I had read in so long at the time.
Yeah.
I think it was my intro to Courtney Walsh. Ooh. Okay, so are we done? We're gonna wrap this up.
I think so.
All right.
Oh, am I wrapping up?
You're wrapping up.
Okay.
Good luck with this.
Yeah, we usually have a script for our intro and outro, and we don't right now. So thanks for joining us today on the Clean Romance podcast, where clean romance lives happily ever after. I remembered that.
I'm so impressed.
So wherever you are listening, drop a comment and let us know, what do you want us to talk about in the future? Or find us on Instagram at the Clean Romance Podcast and connect with us. We're real human people,
Yeah,
and we want to
we're
connect
human.
with you. Until next time, happy reading.
Happy reading.
We did